From a quick victory over Oliveira at UFC 280 to defending his title against the dominant Alexander Volkanovski.
To have the company of two of Australia's best, Robert Whittaker and Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Alex, first of all, congratulations on a tremendous effort, a great fight in Perth against Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev is without a doubt one of the best fighters in the promotion. But is he ready to achieve double champ status? Well, he's kind of into it after the battle at Perth. UFC 284 was a really special event. Both Islam and Volka were on two different missions. The Dagestani champion was trying to keep things simple as he tried to defend his title for the first time. On the other hand, the Aussie was on the path to glory. He wasn't just fighting for bragging rights, he was fighting for the legendary status of double champion. And if I'm being honest, it was a super close fight that could have gone either way. I mean, just an extra punch or a kick could have been the difference that night. But yeah, Makhachev fought brilliantly and successfully registered his first win as the lightweight champion.
Straight after it, I might have underestimated his striking a little bit, and he might have underestimated my wrestling, which made it for a better fight.
And while fight fans continue to debate over who he might fight next, the Dagestani has plans of his own. He wants to compete in a different weight class for a new title to also try his luck at becoming a double weight champion. But with only one title defense to his name, why is Islam so eager to change divisions? Well, he's not fighting for titles or money. He's doing it for legacy. And there's no better legacy to leave behind than becoming a double weight champion in the biggest fighting promotion of the world. But it isn't as simple as it seems. Is the UFC on board? And what about the upcoming fight between Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira?
Was Beneil Dariush rallying in March to beat Drakkar Klose? And that is this category in a nutshell, right? We feel like we're calling a Drakkar Klose.
He can't be serious about leaving his division unattended, right? Just think about it. It would be pretty unfair for the #1 title contender to have to sit and wait while Islam pursues his double champ endeavors. Plus, you also have to consider how Ramadan is coming up. So he's not going to be fighting for a couple of months anyway. And if he decides to leave the division on his return to fight at welterweight, what will the winner between Dariush and Oliveira do? Wait an entire year for a shot at the title? Or risk it all by taking another fight? So yeah, I don't think the UFC will be on board with the idea of Islam competing for a second title anytime soon. Maybe once he's proved he has no competition in the lightweight division, because as good as he might be, I'd advise fans to not get too carried away. Sure, he's on an incredible win streak, but he only has one title defense to his name, and that too against Volkanovski, who's naturally a featherweight. So, once he's done putting away guys like Beneil, Justin Gaethje
is back and sticks the landing once again,
and maybe even Dustin, that's probably when the UFC will let him go on side quests. Because, as of right now, he has a job to do. He needs to tend to his division and make sure the next guy in line gets a fair chance at the title. And speaking of tending to his division, does that also mean a rematch against Alexander is off? Well, Volka's got responsibilities too. The Aussie might have lost at UFC 284, but don't be mistaken. He's still a featherweight champion, and with Yair coming in hot and strong,
Yair's just so round kick, he got him, it's just like that, it is all over.
The Great will have to put his title on the line before a rematch against Makhachev. And maybe, just maybe, if both Islam and Alexander are able to defend their titles, the UFC could think about a rematch. Or Makhachev could think about a move to welterweight. But my argument still stands. Whether it's a rematch or double champ ambitions, Islam needs more title defenses to his name. He can't just decide to get up all of a sudden one day and say he's going to dance with the big boys. MMA personalities like Daniel Cormier and even UFC President Dana White have shut down the idea of a rematch as well. Cormier thinks both of these fighters need to return and entertain their division now. While on the other hand, White thinks Islam and Volka have an obligation to the next title contender. For Islam, that could either be Charles or Beneil. And for Volka, it's Yair Rodriguez. I still don't want you to get the wrong impression though. Islam is still all about what the boss wants. Unlike the Aussie, the Dagestani champion isn't exactly trying to force a rematch or something. he's playing it super cool. Or, in other words, he's ready for whatever the UFC throws at him. They want to give him a fight in the lightweight division? Bring it on. Or even if he has to fight Alexander again, Islam could not care less, since it'll just be another day at the office for him. Also, I don't know about you, but seeing a fighter compete in a different division while being a champion for a different title is super rare. And the last thing I would want is for it to become a trend. Or look at it this way. Imagine if Uncle Dana let Islam move up a division to fight for the welterweight title. And one day another fighter comes along, wins the lightweight title, and demands a move up as well. Being a double champion is something very prestigious, and I honestly don't think everyone should be getting chances. Plus, fight fans can argue all they want about how Makhachev is a dominant champion on a crazy win streak, but it won't change the truth. The fact is, he only has one title defense to his name, and even that's controversial. I don't even need to tell you this, since it's the most talked about thing in the fight world right now. Islam might have won the fight on paper, but people don't really agree. They think his opponent had it in the bag since he did way more damage. Oh, and I'm not just talking about the fans, I'm talking about MMA pros and guys like Joe Rogan. A lot of big names in MMA thought Volka should have walked away with the title that day, but that's not really the point. The point is, Islam is talking about wanting to fight for his second belt, while his first defense remains controversial to date. Maybe if he had dominated his opponent at Perth, it would have been a different story. But he barely edged out a victory. I mean, it could not have been a closer fight. And again, it was a champ versus champ fight that was bound to be super close. But since it wasn't a dominant performance, what I'm trying to say is he still has a lot to prove. And the best way to do that is by competing in his native division before thinking about a move up to welterweight. But anyway, this isn't the first time I've heard this. Islam's coach has hinted at a move up to welterweight in the past as well. Before you think I have something against the Dagestani, let me get one thing out of the way. I think he's one of the best fighters in the promotion. Forget one of the best, I think he's the best right now. Plus, being ambitious to leave behind a glorious legacy is the dream of every MMA fighter out there. And if you ask me, I think Makhachev will get his chance one day. But right now, he needs to focus on ruling a division before moving on to the next. Also, maybe this is all a little PR stunt from his coach, who wants Islam to stay in the headlines and ultimately take over the promotion. But yeah, that's everything about Makhachev's ambitions to rule two divisions.